Yo, yo. What's good, y'all? Ty Butler, we in here on MLB opening day, man. This is really exciting because just last week, I forget who I was talking to, but I asked this person, "Does it feel like baseball season is 3 days away?" And they said, "Nah," because it does. It didn't. It just kind of just snuck up on us. You had and snuck up on us in a great way, but it was because of the World Baseball Classic. You didn't really have to be handcuffed by watching meaningless games that just go on forever with guys you've never heard of. And you got high intensity baseball, which look, I'll be candid and say I wasn't someone who was head over heels, in full blown love, to quote my man Dave Gettleman, with that tournament. But once we hit, what was it, the semis that Sunday night, where I think it was Knicks Warriors on with Team USA versus the Dominican Republic, I was like, all right, you got me locked in. Then I was on ESPN radio in New York the next day. So I was locked into the games. I knew it was going to be a big story. And from that point on, then you get the championship game against Venezuela. So I found myself a lot more intrigued, a lot more invested than I thought I would be. And so because of that, let me just move this over a little bit. Because of that, I didn't really feel like spring training dragged on. But now we're here, man. Opening day, Yankees in San Francisco to take on the Giants. Can we just start with this real quick? We got to stop complaining about streaming, man. It's 2026, y'all. That's the way of the world, man. That's where the money is. That's where the dollars are being spent. That is where we are seeing a change of a changing of the guard. Streaming is popping. So these TV networks are going to have to share some of the real estate. It just is what it is. People complain. I love when I had Justin Termini on. Was it Termini who did this? Dan Gross, actually. No, I've been working with so many people. I was about to have Justin Termini, just random. He was just going to randomly catch a stray. Now it was Dan Gross I was working with on the radio, and he did the whole, wow, the NBA, you can't find these games. It's so easy to find where the game is. Pull up your ESPN app, go to the schedule. It tells you where the game is airing. It's the same thing in baseball. You don't have to complain about it. We know where these games are. Go watch it. People are just distraught. Netflix, man, you're gonna be there watching the game. Should be a fun season. I had just got, and Randy Wilkins, by the way, is going to join us at 1:30 to break down opening day. He's got the Yankees winning it over the Dodgers, which excites the hell out of me. And I'm curious to get his. I do think we get a rematch of the World Series, Yankees Dodgers. I just don't see it, like, with the Yankees being the same team. Like, part of me is like, all right, convince me you're better, but I guess the having Garrett Cole back, which does scare me a bit. 35 years old, coming off of Tommy John surgery. Like, having Garrett Cole back, the rotation's phenomenal. It's going to be tough to beat this team in a playoff series. And so I'm leaning, I guess I still got some time, 6 to 7 hours to make my official prediction, but I'm leaning Yankees, Dodgers, World Series. The Dodgers win it. But part of me also does feel like, all right, the Blue Jays spanked you last year. What's the difference? So I might go that way. I don't know. We might think it's that. I was reading before we got on the stream here. At Tidy Butler, by the way, hit me up on Twitter and on YouTube. And also, my mind's like all over the place. I'm starting the Sunday show on ESPN New York, the Ty Butler show, from 8 a.m. to noon every Sunday. So make sure you guys check that out. I was in The Athletic reading Jim Bowden's 26 bold predictions. And one prediction, I'm going to run this by Randy Wilkins when he hops on is George Lombard Jr. He says is a bold prediction. He gets called up before the All-Star break and becomes the everyday third baseman for New York for the remainder of the season. So I guess we're singing sayonara to Ryan McMahon, who I actually really like as a player. You would love for him to give you something offensively, but that glove. How many years do we have to ask ourselves, like, who's the Yankee third baseman? And I think that at least for now, they solidified that. Obviously, Lombard Jr. coming up means that he's been awesome, and this is one of the biggest pieces of the Yankee future. But I don't really come into the season all that concerned about Ryan McMahon. I think that he is so good defensively. He's going to be able to hit home runs in Yankee Stadium. Anything he gives you, like from an average standpoint offensively, is just icing on the cake. But I value that glove at third base. We just sat through too many of these seasons with the Yankees wondering about their defense, and the fact that he's cleaned it up, he himself, injecting some prowess on that side of the field on the field, I think is just such a massive improvement that we don't got to worry about some of the silliness there. So he's got Lombard Jr. being called up before the All Star break. I'm reading some of Jim Bowden's bold predictions um, via the Athletic. He's also predicting the Yankees. A lot of people are to finish first in the American League East. We remember last year they lost the tiebreaker to the Jays, but he has them finishing first. He has the Yankees getting bounced in the championship series by the Mariners, I believe, right? The Dodgers win the NL pennant. They beat the Cubs 4-2. He's got the Mariners winning the American League pennant, defeating the Yankees in the ALCS. Seattle, the big dumper, getting some revenge for not winning the MVP last year. Man. And then he says Bobby Witt Jr. wins the AL MVP. I guess when you got to give a bold prediction, like Judge is like the safe spot to land on, but he also says Otani will win his fifth MVP. So wouldn't that for Otani be? Would that be four straight for Otani if he wins an MVP this year, which is just unheard of, right? Otani, yeah, that would be four straight, and then four in the last 6 years, or five in the last 6 years, which is just like an unbelievable accomplishment. But yeah, Randy Wilkins going to join us in a second. Let's get to some of your comments. I see you weighing in on YouTube at Jason Custodio 2024 says just subbed. I think the Mariners could be a problem. Oh yeah, the Mariners are going to be a problem. Man, they were awesome last year, and this is going to be like if you start to list the teams that could get in the Yankees' way in the American League, we know the Blue Jays are there. Quietly, man, the Red Sox, that might be. And by the way, they took the Yankees to 3 games in the playoffs, and they won Game 1 of that wild card series. So the Red Sox, I think, will be hanging in there, and then the Mariners will be a popular pick. So absolutely with you on they could be a problem, more than a problem. He also challenged, and I like McMahon too. I hope he can do better offensively. So the thing with Ryan McMahon is this: he does have some power. He does have some power. When you look at his career, home runs, career high, he hit, and this is a long time ago, 2019, he hit 24 home runs. But in 2025, between the Rockies and the Yankees, he hit 20. Year before in Colorado, he hit 20. Year before that, he hit 23. So he's actually got to stretch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight years, 20 or more home runs. If you're getting 20 home runs from Ryan McMahon, who might be your 9th hitter in the lineup, can't be mad at that. Stellar defensively. That glove is going to be what keeps him in the lineup. If you're getting that from him, can't be mad at that. Like I said, everything offensively will just be icing on the cake. You don't want him to be an automatic out. You can't get away with that in baseball, especially these days. But if he is going to hover around, I know we don't care about batting average anymore, but his career batting average is 240. 240, 20 home runs, lockdown defense at third. I'm taking that. I am taking that. They might as well send him the award now. Oh, Otani. Listen, I had a hot take, and it wasn't really all that hot 2 years ago. I thought Francisco Lindor should have been the MVP. That was the 24 baseball season. And I was on the radio screaming, Lindor's the MVP. Because without Otani, the Dodgers won 100 games the year before. When Lindor struggles, the Mets are bad. And so 2024, when Lindor finished second, he had a WAR of near 7, 33 home runs, 91 RBIs. He's your leadoff hitter. And I just thought he was tremendous. And especially when you throw in what he gave you defensively, which we didn't see Otani have his, Otani's obviously a two-way player being a pitcher. Otani 2 years ago didn't pitch. So I said, Lindor is one of the best defensive shortstops in baseball. He has been incredible offensively. And the numbers showed, and this is not all that, shocking, that because Lindor typically gets off to a slow start. The moment he took off was when the Mets also took off. And so I thought that was noteworthy, and he should have been the MVP. But, I don't want to sound like a hater. I just think Otani should be celebrated. It's great for baseball. So let's full stop there. Otani should be celebrated. Great for baseball. I think you do need stars that are transcendent, that just captivate national, international audience to help grow your sport. So baseball is doing all the right things and elevating, rightfully so, Shohei Otani, who at worst is the second best player in the league. But I just thought sometimes, like, because of what he was projected to be and him being the face or one of the faces of the sport, he sometimes, like, tie goes to the runner. Tie went to Otani. And I just thought 2 years ago, Lindor was the MVP. But Shohei going for 4 straight. Is that a record? I should know this off the top of my head. Most consecutive MVPs in baseball. Barry Bonds holds the record 4 in a row from 01 to 04. So Otani is looking to tie Barry Bonds for the most consecutive MVPs, which would just be incredible. All right, Randy Wilkins. He joins us on the show today. It's the first time I've ever spoken to him, but he is a tremendous talent. Filmmaker, directed The Captain on ESPN. He's got his podcast, Views from 314 Feet. He just dropped an episode with Chris Kirshner. So make sure you guys check that out. He joins us on the show, man. Randy, Ty Butler, nice to meet you, bro.
Nice to meet you, bro. Nice to meet you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right. So I see you wearing the Yankee hat. I was just listening to my boys, DPH on Rothenberg on ESPN New York. It's funny. Dave took exception. He's like, I don't like when people wear the non-traditional, non-colored Yankee hat. So now you pull up with the burgundy Yankee hat.
He should probably learn a little history. No disrespect to him, but the reason why we have non-traditional hats is because of Spike Lee and George Steinbrenner. So it was blessed by the boss. So as long as it's blessed by the boss, then we all have permission to wear as many different colors. This one has a very specific patch for the Captain film that we did. So this one is like near and dear to me. But I mean, the boss blesses different colors, then I'm gonna go along with it.
Let's do it, man. I'm so excited to have you on opening day. It's funny because I just talked about before you got on, like, spring training usually feels like it drags, and it's like, man, like, you're hyped to have baseball back, but then you're watching all of these guys who are not going to play. It's like, you're just getting me to the baseball opening day. But this year was unique in that we had the tournament, the World Baseball Classic, that candidly I wasn't initially all that interested in. But once we got to the semis and it's DR and Team USA, and then we got to the championship round, I was like, all right, I'm all in. So that to me felt like it kind of helped the tempo of the baseball off season. And so I'm excited, man. It's opening day. First, before we get to the Yankees, what did you think about the World Baseball Classic?
I thought it was amazing. I thought it was amazing. The last couple innings of it, I think it only gets better. It gets better. I'm happy that Venezuela won. Just given everything going on in the world, and I thought that they were a very good team. I thought that they were slept on. Um, yeah, I mean, I always think the cultural conversations that come out of it are well intentioned in some areas and not well intentioned in others. So I think it reveals a lot about people's character and perceptions.
Yeah.
But the actual baseball part of it, I thought it was great, and I agree with you. It was a great break from the monotony of spring. Didn't have to get caught up in spring training stats and crazy stuff like that. It was just competitive baseball, and I thought the team all performed well. Even the one are still coming up, like Brazil. They had Jose Contreras' son like pitch well against the USA. So yeah, I think it's great for baseball. I think it was a great idea Selig had and Rob Manfred built upon. So yeah, I mean, kudos to it. I thought it was much needed to going into the season.
Absolutely. It's also, to your point, instructive, man. And how many different ways we just need to be better, like as a country, in having the culture and race conversation, bro. Because there are so many people who are tone deaf. Like, honestly, if you are someone who just takes exception, I cannot believe this player thinks that this would mean more than the World Series. It's cool to just say, I disagree, but I respect how you feel, because we don't come from the same background. We don't know what it means to put on for your country, because baseball is front and center here in America. And so if I've got, Vlad Guerrero Jr., who I think is 29, spent 29 years of his life getting to this point, and he's repping for his country, and he feels that emotion, like, who am I to tell him he's wrong? So I just thought, again, it was instructive in a lot of ways. We can really do better about how we have the conversation so that our commentary is responsible. And this just headlined it, and it outlined that.
Yeah. I mean, it's reflective of a lot of discord. So I think that that's just another, spoken wheel of a much larger conversation that should be had across the board.
Absolutely. All right, let's get to the baseball, man. So I saw you're picking the Yankees. You got a little 2024 rematch, but the wrinkle here is it won't be the Dodgers who hoist the championship this time. They're not going to be celebrating the Yankee Stadium. You've got the Yankees coming out on top, avenging what happened in that pathetic 2024 series. Put me on, bro. How did you get to this point?
I just think that they're way more equipped now to answer questions that come up throughout the season and in the playoffs than they have in the past. So I think the only real question mark right now is their bullpen, but I think they have enough pieces in the minors that, and they have enough depth with the start that if they wanted to move someone over, they could. I think Carlos Legrand will end up in the bullpen at some point this year and be a big difference maker if he stays healthy. I just think they have so much depth now and like quality depth that at this point, if things pop up, they can navigate it much better than the past. I also think, and this is something we talked about on the podcast with Chris Kirshner, that they're much more in tune, it seems, this year with the details. I think the last couple years they lax when it comes to details and focus. And it apparently has been a big point of emphasis in spring training camp. And I think you can see it just in some of the games that they've played. And they've carried that over. I don't think they'll have those ridiculous summer swoons that last for 2 months and them just kind of brushing it off like it's not happening. So I think that there's a very intent focus on the team right now. I think they understand that they need to like go on and get this done. I wish they had added more pitching, but like the running it back thing, I didn't have a problem with on the lineup side because they had the best offense in baseball. So I just think they're like really deep. Their bench is better than it was last year. I just think they're much more equipped to handle all adversity, but also thrive at the same time. And point the Dodgers are going to lose, and they probably should have lost last year. You could say they should have lost in 2024, and that they shouldn't have even made the World Series in 24 when they played the Padres. So I think at some point they have flaws too. I mean, they paper over them very well, but they still have some. Some of their main guys are getting older. So, I think the Yankees can do it as long as they stay healthy, and they're also getting Garrett Cole. If they get Cole to be anywhere near Garrett Cole, I'll put them up against anybody.
All right, so before we get to, because I got some positives, like I made a list of like what I'm excited for. I do want to address some of my biggest concerns, like what am I watching for, and I have my like, all right, that's interesting. So Garrett Cole coming back, as you mentioned, age 35, off of Tommy John surgery. Cole's awesome. He's one of the best pitchers of our generation. He's a Hall of Famer. Coming back at that age off of Tommy John surgery, we just never know. Now we expect him to be great because he's Cole, but we just never know. So I've got my eye on that. The Trent Grisham regression. I guess there are two different ways you could look at the Trent Grisham thing. One is, well, last year he balled out because he was playing for a contract. Well, this year he's playing for a contract again. So maybe that, like, you know, happens one more time. Anthony Volpe, what is he when he comes back? I do this weird thing, Randy, in sports where I almost like when I see a player, like we learn he was hurt, I feel more encouraged because I'm like, it wasn't that you were just bad. Like there's a reason to discuss how bad you were. And in the playoffs, he was terrible. I'm like, he cannot be that bad. So learning that, yeah, there was a significant injury that he had almost makes me feel better. And then the last thing was Bellinger. He's superb, but I do got a little bit of a DJ LeMahieu PTSD. I think Bellinger's great, but it just conditioned as a Yankee fan, fresh off of what we saw with DJ, who his first 4 years had two top five MVP finishes, and I think people forget about that. But then fell off, injuries and all that. But those are the things that I could point to that I'm most concerned about. What do you think about that?
With Cole, I mean, he said himself he feels like he has a new elbow, and I think he was basically hurt throughout 2024 when he pitched. You know, he basically tapped out of the World Series. He's throwing 98 and 98 with good command already in February. So, you know, his close friend is Justin Verlander came back from Tommy John surgery, even older, and won the Cy Young that following year. So I think he talked to Justin a lot. I think the stuff that he's shown is really encouraging. He's throwing harder or just as hard as he did before and he looks at least stuff wise like the 2023 version, which won a Cy Young. So I think if his command comes back, I think Cole's gonna. Well, I mean, it really just comes down to his command. His stuff is as long as his stuff is there, and it might even be better for someone that you would expect at 35, especially because he was declining. But I think he was hurt. That's basically what we're gonna find out. You know, that some of that was compromised because he was kind of grinding through stuff. Trent Grisham, the data suggests that he's a hitter. I mean, I'm going to lean on the data here, and I think that's what the Yankees did too. There were a lot of things that suggested that corner as a hitter, and some of the things that he's done well carried that, but also just the metrics and the under the hood stuff suggests he might not hit 34 home runs again, but. Yeah. In terms of being an above average hitter and being close to 800 OPS and stuff like that, I mean, it could happen again because the data says it. You know, if it was like Paul Goldschmidt the first 2 months of last year, like very fluky, like like Luis Ariz, and it was that, then I would agree with you. But I mean, if you look at his metrics all last year, like Trent Grisham was really good, and I think the Yankees looked and said, okay, there might be something here, but let's see if he could do it again. And then Volpe, I don't know. At this point, I have no idea. I mean, it could have been the injury. I don't think it explains like the fall off in defense and the sinking on defense. So I don't know what to think of Volpe, man. Like at this, I've always supported of him until like the middle of last year, and then I just kind of like tapped out. It was like, okay, I don't know what's going on with homeboy. The defense still should have been good and still should have been coverage, and it wasn't. So I honestly have no idea what's going to happen with Volpe. And what was the last thing? Bellinger.
Bellinger, yeah.
I think PTSD for sure, but I mean, LeMahieu's career ended when he broke his foot. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, you know, if that was bad, and then it just became worse. So, unless Cody Bellinger like fouls a ball off his foot and breaks it, I'm not really worried about Cody. He's a very athletic, obviously, and I think he's the right fit for these. He's in the right place. Like if he went to the Mets, I think he'd be in trouble. But I just think the park fits him. He's athletic. He can do different things, and as long as he doesn't like have a major injury, I think he'll be all right.
Before we continue, are you getting glitchy? Are you experiencing glitches like when I talk to you, or
No,
because
I'm good.
I'm getting some like feedback for some reason on my end from you. So I just
Oh
wanted to
no,
make sure.
no, I'm good. I don't have any feedback or glitches or anything.
All right, cool. Every when you're talking, sometimes during your answers, it's like choppy, and I just want to make sure the audience could hear you as best as possible. So I don't know if there's something going on internet wise on your end or.
No, I don't. No, I don't. That's good. My Wi-Fi is good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's maybe
All
it's
right,
streaming
cool.
or
Maybe it's just me. But all right, so let's get to some of the positives though. What I'm excited for. Obviously, Aaron Judge, that goes without saying. We don't got to talk about him yet. Excellent rotation. It's been a while, Randy, since I felt this good entering a season. Now we know Rodon, he's not going to join them until a month or so. Same with Garrett Cole. But I just went back and tried to look at like when's the last time you had a year when the Yankees came in with this much like firepower? And like 2019, Tanaka, Hap, Paxton was supposed to be good, Herman Sabathia. And this exercise is a little bit difficult because we remember how it went, and it's hard to like remember how we felt going into it. But that's a pretty damn good rotation, at least we thought. You had 2018 Tanaka, Severino, Gray, Herman, Sabathia, but like Herman's a wild card. Sabathia toward his later years, and I just kept going back. It's 2009, the championship season with Sabathia, Burnett, Jabba Chamberlain, and Andy Pettit. Like it's been a while when I look at this rotation and what it projects to be, assuming Cam Schlittler is as phenomenal as we saw last year. You get Garrett Cole back, and like you said, he's touching 98, and he's going to have Garrett Cole's resume. So we just trust that he's going to be great. Rodon now doesn't have to be the second best pitcher; he'll be slided down to fourth. You've got obviously Max Fried, who had a bump in a row last year, and then blew up in that playoff game, but we know Max Fried is good, and I think at some point we will see Luis Seal called up. This rotation, man, is tremendous.
yeah, I think Will Warren is going to take the biggest leap of anybody in the rotation. I think he's the one that everybody's sleeping on. So he had a great spring, but he had a great spring wise, not just results wise. So yeah, I agree with you. And then you go to the minor leagues, they have a bunch of guys that come up and help out too. Like LeGrand Hayes, a starter. But if they want to put him in the pen, they can. They have Elmer Rodriguez. They have pieces that if they need to get somebody, they can go get Ryan Weathers. Yeah, I mean, I get you. Like they just need to be healthy. I mean, I think that I know that this is going to be like a popular refrain. They have
Yeah,
to stay healthy. As long as they stay healthy, I think that they'll have one of the best rotations in the league
and
easily.
they're deep too, and so and we just know because I on TV talked about this with the Mets, and the conversation was about like them having six guys for five spots. That stuff tends to you've been watching baseball your whole life. That figures itself out. Guys get hurt. The Yankees are starting the season with multiple injuries. And so it'll figure itself out, but you just feel good knowing they have the depth to overcome it should anything happen, and that it's not like season ending. Um, it'll be fun too. Ben Rice, what type of leap he makes? Like this year for him, Austin Wells is talented. Now there was a lot of inconsistency with him, but he's a very talented player, and so like these young cats, we have a propensity to just get excited because we haven't seen them enough to know what their ceiling is yet, but they have so much potential.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing for Rice is he just needs better luck. He was the unluckiest hitter last year, or he would have been an All-Star MVP level hitter. I mean, that was really the difference is unbelievable. Like Chris and I basically lead the Ben Rice fan club, and um, we think that he could lead the league in home runs from a first baseman. We think that he could, challenge for best top 10 hitter in the league. That's how good we think he is. A lot of it for us is really just come down to luck. He just had like horrible luck last year. He would hit the crap out of it, would go right to somebody, and
56% hard hit his hard hit rate last year.
yeah, and I mean, the only thing he just needs to get better at is hitting breaking balls at this point. that's the one thing, and I feel like he has a work ethic to do it. So I expect a big year from him. Austin Wells, I think it just comes down to swing decisions. He just made bad swing decisions last year, and still hit 21 home runs and has poolside power in the air. And there's a lot to like about Austin Wells. I'm a big Austin Wells fan. He just needs to make betting decisions, and I think he'll be all right.
All right, let's go to Jazz. He is a very polarizing figure amongst the Yankee fan base. I like it, man, because he adds some juice. He, like, you remember a couple years ago when the complaint about the Yankees was that they're too corporate. They need some dudes in there, like they need some ballers, and they bring in Josh Donaldson. The problem is Josh Donaldson just wasn't good enough, and then he had his issues, but Jazz, I think, brings fire. He brings passion. He like livens the locker room or the clubhouse. You don't always love some of the decision making, but I think in this day and age, where yes, speed still does matter, and we're not stealing bases at the rate that we did a decade ago. But the ability to go first to third, like that speed is a game series changer. And now he's playing at second, more comfortable. He's got pop in his bat. I just love Jazz. And well, we'll see that contract situation figure itself out. But I'm excited to watch him this year.
Yeah, man, I think he's going 40-40. I know he said 50-50, but if he, I think 40-40 is like definitely in the cards. He just, again, he has to stay healthy. But I think you brought up a good point beyond Jazz. Like the Yankees base, like they did steal a lot of bases last year, but they weren't a very good base running team. Like they weren't going first to third well, they weren't going first to home well, and I think that's something that they need to improve. This is obviously a big part of that, but that's another like kind of nuance of the game that I hope that the Yankees have emphasized in the spring, because they weren't very good at it last year, like bottom 10 in base running, and Jazz just offers a dynamic that I don't think anybody else on that team has. And definitely like the attitude and like the confidence is very un-Yankee like, but they embrace it, which I'm happy about. I've never heard them really have any issue with anything Jazz has said or done. Like I know Boone has to talk to him a couple times, but it's not like a punishment or putting him in his place. Is just reminding him to stay on track and stuff like that. So I think Jazz could go 40-40. He's also in a contract year, and he wants to prove that he's worth that money. And Chris and I have talked about industry percent versus reality with him when it comes to his track and how that's going to play out. And he's going to be probably the best hitter in this free agent class. So that'll help him if he has another good year. But he's put up MVP numbers with the Yankees since he's been there. So
what do you think happens
in terms of
like this? You think he's staying?
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to happen in season though. I mean, he'll hit free agency and then it'll be like Bellinger. But if he has a year that I think they're going to have to pay up, and I think there will be a market because there's just not that many good hitters in the free agency class this year. So. He can make a lot of money. He said like 10 at 35 a year. I don't know if he's going to get 10 years, but he can get close to that AAV if he has another big year.
So you talked about this on your podcast, the Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman kind of dispelling the rumors that he doesn't make his own lineup. And it's a story that I think tends to have legs during the Yankee struggles. You don't really talk about this when the offense is humming and when the team is doing well. But the moment they go into that swoon during the summers, it's like, this becomes a big topic of conversation. And I saw you tweeting about it, and there was some pushback on your part. Here's what I will say, though. Like Michael Kay, who I love, like he's my colleague, he's awesome. But when in the recap of the 2024 World Series, people are killing Boone on the radio. And the defense of it is, well, did you think Aaron Boone made that decision? Like, these are pre-planned. Like, Boone didn't decide to go to Nestor Cortez Jr., so this was an organizational decision. I think that's what feeds into the public and their skepticism about whether Boone is making these decisions that includes putting the lineup out there together every night.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not true. I mean, it's just that happens. Like, these are managerial decisions. He's given information like every other organization, but the choices, decisions come from Boone and all coaching staff. I mean, that's never been true. I'm not really. I think what you're saying about people feeding into it, um, you know, big time voices, Michael K is a big part of it, but like the genesis of it, I don't know what that is, where that came from. I don't know if it came because Aaron Boone had never managed before, so there was no track record to lean on. So it's easy to say that because Aaron didn't have a managerial career before this, and he came from TV, that of course he's there to just kind of be the mouthpiece and the puppet. But that's never been true. I mean, it's just not accurate. Like, I've personally spoken to Brian Cashman over the years, and it's like that he never did that. Like, even when I talked to him for the captain with Joe Torre and Joe Girardi, like we had conversation. He explained certain things about how things work and the things that he as a general manager has to pay attention to that people just don't know about. That really is with like putting out fires and managing the manager in terms of how they deal with certain situations that come up throughout the year and providing information. So there's so much that a GM has to do that nobody knows about, let alone trying to create a lineup. So the other thing too that I always say is no analytical department with any kind of like respect would play Anthony Rizzo as many times as Aaron Boone played Anthony when he like didn't even have a functioning brain. No disrespect.
He was concussed.
Yeah, like he's concussed and he's playing every game. Like there's a way that analytical department is saying, put out. Paul Goldschmidt was terrible for multiple months and he was getting a lot of at bats over Ben Rice. An analytical department is not going to make that decision. Like Boone relies on veteran players. That's part of his DNA and his decision making. So like some of the decisions even in themselves go against what analytics would tell you. So I don't know.
So what happened? So what happened in Game 1 of the 24 World Series? Like, what goes into that decision? This guy hasn't pitched in weeks. And I guess at the time maybe we didn't know it, but it ends up being the biggest spot of the World Series. And so, how does that decision get made?
I think it's just trusting certain information. Like I'm sure that part of the decision was based on pitch shape and like that, more so than just a gut feeling. But I also think part of it is Aaron Boone trusted Nestor Cortez. He was an all-star that year. You know what I mean? And I didn't agree with it. I thought Tim Hill could get Ohtani out. He ended up getting Ohtani out later in the series. So I didn't agree with it, but I don't think that I strongly doubt again that an analytical department would mandate to Aaron Boone pitch the guy who hasn't forever to face Shohei. Shohei and Freddie Freeman.
Right. Yeah.
That just logically doesn't make sense to me. I don't think I would tell you that, or like an analytical breakdown of it would lead to that conclusion. I think that Aaron Boone and Matt Blake, that the matchup worked for them, that he trusts Nestor in these spots, and it was a bad decision clearly. So it happens. Just happened at a very, very bad.
Maybe the worst time. A couple more questions for you. So, what did you make of the Aaron Judge has been in the news like the last couple weeks between the performances in the World Baseball Classic? He goes 1 of 8, 1 of 8 in the final 2 games of the tournament. He also talked about like the crowd size and the energy being bigger than the World and better than the World Series. And then just a couple of days ago, there was a story. I think it was John Heyman who wrote about it in the New York Post about him getting booed at spring training. So what have you made of like all of this noise surrounding Aaron Judge?
I mean, one of the biggest stars, all that nonsense is going to come with it. I mean, that's the price you pay for being the best. So people forget he got robbed of a home run in the DR game. So, I mean, and if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have even made the quarterfinals. So, I mean, he did his part. I know he looked terrible in the final game. So that's definitely like a legitimate thing there. But there's always going to be noise with Aaron Judge. Yankee, he's the best hitter on the planet. He hasn't won yet. So there's that A-Rod stigma that's attached to him. So there's just noise that comes with it. It's just the price you pay for being the best. I don't think too much of it. I think he needs to show up and his team needs to help him get a full play run, and then he needs to like shine. I think legitimate. But everything else I don't pay attention to. Like Derek Jeter got booed in real games. So it's Yankees fan though. Like it's just there's always gonna be something though.
Last baseball note I want to hit you with. I was doing my like prep just for the season. Jim Bowden's got his athletic article that dropped today. 26 predictions for the 2026 season. And coming in at number 5, he says Yankees top prospect George Lombard Jr. is called up before the All-Star break and becomes the everyday third baseman for New York for the remainder of the season. And it's spicy, right? And I'll react the way that I did at the top of the show. I brought this up, and then I'm curious your thoughts on it. It's the first time in a while where you come into a season not feeling anxious about your third baseman. And I think Ryan McMahon has done a tremendous job. Answered a question that the Yankees had. Like, legitimate question was, defensively, they're a mess. Can we fix it? He's done that. And then everything offensively is just like icing on the cake. But many people would be surprised to know he's had 5 straight seasons of 20 or more home runs. And so at Yankee Stadium, he'll be able to have some pop. He's a career 240 guy. And so, look, my expectation isn't high for him offensively, but I trust his defense. And then anything he gives you on that offense is icing on the cake. But Lombard Jr., if he gets inserted into the equation, it means he's tearing it up. And obviously, he's like a big piece of what the Yankees are trying to do in the future.
I everything you said, and I don't see the Yankees rushing to bring Lombard up unless there are multiple injuries. I mean, I just don't. I know that that's like a predictions thing, so it's meant to be kind of like and take a risk. So I get the exercise, but I just don't see the Yankees doing that unless a lot of stuff happens. They also have Ahmed Rosario. They have Caballero. I mean, they just have like so many pieces. They have Cabrera. There's so many people ahead a third base or something were to happen that I don't think that's going to happen. And also, like, George legitimately has some stuff to work on offensively. Like, he just needs to get better contact, fastballs better. So, I mean, Jim is asking for a lot, I think, mid-season. But I agree with Ryan McMahon. I think solves a lot of him. The third base defense was terrible until he got there, and they were playing Jazz there, and DJ LeMahieu and Oswald Peralta and Pablo Reyes. It's like Ryan McMahon clears all of them defensively at the very least. So, and he'll run into a couple. You know, he made some adjustments at the plate, so I think it's fine. It's not. He doesn't need to be the man. He's not like the 3 hitter. He's a 9 hitter. He's an 8 hitter. So it's
yeah, yo, bro. If you could get 20 home runs from your number 9 hitter, like
with Gold Glove defense, like we're good.
Take that. All right. So you've got the Yankees beating the Dodgers in the World Series. I love it, man. From your lips to God's ears.
Yeah.
I want to hit you with some hip hop stuff because like it's been a busy news week in the hip hop space. You got J. Cole doing multiple interviews. You got Jay-Z doing all these interviews. Drake and Kendrick back in the mix. So I got a chance, and I know you told me yesterday you didn't get a chance to watch the entire interview. You only saw some clips. I had it on this morning, and what I will say is just to me before we get into like the particulars that was running rampant on social media, I think Hope's coming with an album this year, bro.
Oh,
like, the way he's talking,
yeah.
Because I don't know if you saw what he was asked about, like, because he was supposed to be on the Clips album.
Yeah.
And he had his comment like, yeah, I was going to, but I wanted to come from me, and it's like and he talked about like the Tony Busby situation that had him miserable last year, and he's like, yo, I'm on all offense this year. And now he's doing interviews. He's got the shows. So he just added another show at Yankee Stadium. I think we got a whole album coming this year.
I mean, I thought that when he started doing stuff with Beyonce, like live, it was like, okay, there's a reason when this. He's not just doing this because Beyonce's his wife. Like he would have had multiple opportunities to do that in the past. So yeah, there's definitely something coming. I mean, he's very smart. He knows what's going on. So. I fully expect an album this year, especially because he probably has been watching everybody else successful and like the quote unquote their acts like having this renaissance, and like there's clearly a new genre within hip hop for a certain age or like certain part of the culture that he can definitely slide in, and he's seen that it's been extremely successful. So he's a good businessman. So yeah, Yeah.
The Kendrick Drake stuff was obviously brought up, and there were a lot of people calling out his hypocrisy because it's like, dog, we saw what you said about Nas during y'all rap beef. We saw what happened between Biggie and Pac. So like, what has changed? And I thought like it's a nuanced way to look at it because to some degree he's right. Like social media has just completely, for better or for worse, changed commentary about everything, and it's created for the for worst part like a bunch of toxicity. But as far as rap battles and saying like this shouldn't be a part of the culture anymore, I just disagree with that. Like it's crazy. It's always been a part of the culture.
Yeah. I agree. I also thought it was crazy when he said it because I was super ugly. Like you talking about hitting on people's character, and you Ether came and you came with super ugly because you had nothing left, lost. You know, I was around for all of that. So like I remember vividly, and I remember vividly people in the streets like being very serious about how they felt about it and like sides that they chose. So like some of that toxicity that we see on social media was in the streets. Like that wasn't that isn't new. It's just that it's amplified. But I do think the important point he made is the toxicity and rise of stan culture. Like
Mhm.
like did because Eminem made that song way back in the day. So it
Yep.
was a thing. But I think the toxicity, danger that comes along, stan culture has risen through social media.
Yeah.
The doxing, like that doxing didn't happen before unless we knew where you nobody was doing that. And I think
Mhm.
the level of like vitriol because you can hide and be anonymous and like hide in the shadows. I think the points about stan culture and like still talking about this crazy stuff like it's your identity even a year later is
Bro.
extremely on the nose. Like I think that was the important part to me of what he was saying is the danger of like stan culture and how it's amplified. Like that to me very 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 accurate.
And what I thought was perfect, man, was I responded to one of the clips he put out, and the comments, not even Drake fans, not Kendrick fans, Nicki, her barbs are in there because you know they hate. So it's like it's perfect because what he said actually came to fruition because this quote, this video clip was distributed, and seemingly no group hates Hove more than the Barb's right now. But another thing too was
It's also dangerous, and I think it's important to point this out that like the bots, like the
yeah,
intentional misinformation campaign that happens all the time. You don't know if you were speaking to a real person or not. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And it's like the bot ass and the intentional misinformation campaigns is also very dangerous because half the time you're not speaking to a human, you're to a bot farm. You know what I mean? Whose whole intention is to antagonize. So it
yeah.
makes it even worse. You don't even know if you're talking to a human being or not.
That's my issue. Sometimes I get caught. Like whenever I got time and people are coming at me, it's like I'm going back and forth because this happened with the Nicki. Yo, I was a big Nicki fan, bro. Like I thought she was in the midst of having one of the greatest runs in hip hop history, and that's not even being hyperbolic. Like her longevity, the hits, like where she came from, like all of it, New York, like it was just crazy. And then to see, I don't want to get political here, but like what's happened there is kind of disappointing. But um, it's just like I found myself engaging with like bots, and I'm just like, these aren't real. What am I doing with myself? Like these are not real people. Why am I wasting my time?
Right. They're not real people, which just makes it worse. You know,
The last thought I had on this, because you nailed this. Jay-Z talked about the word allowed while discussing how Hove is breaking into these spaces and making his moves, and you had thoughts on this. So I wanted you to share that with the public.
yeah, I mean, I think what he said was is extremely important, and I thought that was really the highlight of the interview that I saw. Um, this idea that and he wasn't. I thought it was important that he did that it wasn't just race, that it wasn't just specifically to black people, even though it is very specific to black people in many instances. This idea that some power that be allowed you to be in the space that you deserve to be in, or that you earned your way into, and him just shutting down the language, the thought of being allowed. I thought was extremely important. And that's how I live my life. You didn't allow me into anything. Like
Mm-hmm.
I earned here, and you're going to, I'm demanding your, it might not be your respect, but your attention. And that I'm commanding the room wherever I'm at because I earned my way here. And I think that there are a lot of people that either play the humble role or they downplay their own their own abilities, their own talents, and kind of feel like they're the one person that got through the door. And it's like no, you earned your way there, and so did other people. And you can't like give so much leverage to the powers that be, where it feels like you're minimizing your own power. And that's something that I live by. Like I have to deal with it in the film industry all the time. Like I'm a black dude that makes films. Like this is it already is like a very tricky situation in navigating an industry where you do not see people that look like you or understand what you're about or your viewpoint, and you have to constantly fight against that. But the rooms I've been in, like I earned it.
Yep.
You didn't allow me here. Like you didn't give me permission. Like I earned your attention, and I myself is on the same level as you or even higher. So I think that that's how people should look at things and expect to be there, not expect to be allowed in there. And there's a huge difference.
And what doesn't help that is we now have this 3-letter acronym just being thrown around when people like you and I get in rooms. It's like, did they really
Right.
earn their way there? Or is it that 3-letter acronym, the whole DEI thing? And so
Right.
you
I mean,
earned this.
where you're at, that's not DEI. You earn that. Like you've accomplished it. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And it also, what I love about it though, and this is kind of going off on a tangent, it exposes how intellectually dishonest or downright stupid people are, in that they don't even understand what that term means.
Right.
So you're using it because you think it means something, or you wish it meant something else that you're too afraid to use, and you don't really understand the context of it. But
I mean, it's the same thing with woke. Like,
it's
trying to constantly take command and control of things that are the antithesis to the system. Like anything that goes against the system, there is a constant need for the people that thrive off the system or reinforce it to control its enemy, essentially. So like, we all know that the birthplace of woke was something that was anti-establishment. Now it's established, they've co-opted it, and it's like a constant churn. So it's the same thing with DEI. Like it's something that is in their minds the system, and like we can't have this happen. So they co-opt it and they turn it into something different.
But bro, the crazy part about the whole woke thing is that that got co-opted, but then the side complaining about being too woke all of a sudden became too woke when we closed museums and we banning books and we doing that. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Y'all became the same thing y'all were complaining about.
Right, but because they co-opted it, they are presented as something else now. That is like, I mean, this is like a whole long conversation, but it's interesting how all that goes down. And I think it was very important that Jay-Z mentioned it, and I think it was also important that told Frazier don't use that language.
Yeah,
it was very important for him to say, man, you earned this seat with me. Like it was basically like you're in the room with me because you earned it. Don't talk like that anymore. Like,
yo, to your point though, there was a part of the interview when he's discussing. Frazier had asked him about like the Kendrick decision, like why put him at the Super Bowl? Like people thought that you did this to, punch at Drake. And he's like, yo, I'm effing Jay-Z. Like, so to your point, it's like, know who you are. Like, there's a difference between being arrogant and cocky, but standing 10 toes down on what you are, what you've accomplished, and what you stand for. Like, there's a difference between those two things.
And it's okay to say that.
Yeah.
You earned it. Like when I saw that part and I was like, yeah, exactly. Like, I'm happy he said that too. Like, he is Jay-Z. He's earned that. People that have earned that and should be saying that and thinking that. And more people should be when it's appropriate. And it was appropriate there to say, look, man, I'm Hove. I don't need to be bothered with this like child's play. Come on, man. Like I don't need this.
Yo, this was so much fun, man. I really do appreciate you coming through on the show,
Pleasure.
running down. I don't know how we ended here, but this was dope, man. This is a real conversation that needs to be had on these platforms. Shout out to you, filmmaker, director. You got the podcast ringing off, got the baseball season tonight. So I'm excited, man. I definitely will talk to you soon, and I appreciate you pulling up on me.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. That was Randy Wilkins. Check him out, man. He does a phenomenal job. He is at Pam's Son, PAMSSON on Twitter. And he's doing a great job. Views from the 314 FT, threes from 314 Feet podcast. So he's got that going. Him and Krishna of The Athletic. So we got the baseball season getting popping tonight. Yankees against the Giants. I'm excited about it because we are finally here, man. We are finally here. And I'm going to try my best. I am going to try my best because I will be on these airwaves. I will be on the radio station. I will be on SNY on television. I'm going to try my best to purport myself as someone who is enjoying the baseball season more than I have in the past. Because I think we do, and this is not in lieu of enjoy, but sometimes like the Knicks fans are going through this right now, where it's like, yo, just get us to the playoffs. We know we're in. We know we're one of the best teams. We just want to play for something more than what we're playing for right now. And I completely understand that. It's what the Yankees fan has been conditioned to believe and operate as for the last 16 years post 2009. It's like, yo, just get us back to the post. And I guess we got a little bit of a reset because those teams in like the 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, like that 4-year run, they were, I think they missed the playoffs 3 times in those 4 years, right? Like 2013, 2014, they missed the playoffs. 2015, they lost the wild card game to the Astros. 2016, they missed the playoffs. So then you reset in 2016, and now this is like the infusion of the youth, right? The baby bombers. They were exciting. They got their timeline got sped up there. That's how good they were. And you get to the championship series. And so now it's like we've been kind of knocking on the door for so long. Let's just get over the hump. So let's try to, and it's not to say we don't enjoy the regular season. We do enjoy it. It's fun. When you get a chance to watch Aaron Judge every single night, like there's nothing more fun in baseball than that. Like he is must see television. He's the best player in the league. He's just captivating, and it's not just at the plate. He's a tremendous defensive player. Like everything about him is just spectacular, and so I always get annoyed when people are, why aren't Yankee fans enjoying it? It's not that we're not enjoying it. It's we have like our brain is wired differently. And again, Knicks fans are experiencing the same thing. What do they have? 10 games left? And if they could fast forward these 10 games, they would do it. Now, they still are technically fighting for something, right? The Knicks could um Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco just said, according to Adam Schefter, other teams are dumb for not signing him to start. Great. The Knicks fans are still playing for the 2 seed. But as far as like the Yankees, I guess the difference is this year too. You didn't win the division last year, so that's goal number one: win your division, get the 1 seed, so you can host the playoffs, and then you just kind of see where things fall. But it's exciting, and we hit on a lot of it with Randy. It was a fun conversation. I've got my what to watch for biggest concerns. Garrett Cole, age 35 season, coming off of Tommy John surgery. Not to say that he won't be great, but missed an entire year, man. And at this age, like you just never know. You just never know. The Trent Grisham regression. Is that gonna happen? Well, the argument against it happening would be he's in a 1-year contract situation again. So, like, if you thought he was only good last year because he was playing for a big deal, um, he's doing the same thing this year. Anthony Volpe, what is he going to be when he comes back? That is going to be significant, and I guess not as significant as it once was, because there was a point in time where you thought like he's a legitimate superstar, like he's going to be one of the better players on the team, and that's just not the case anymore. But you still need him to not be awful, especially defensively, and that's like where the biggest concern lies for me. His defense was abysmal, and he's got the yips. You can't get the ball to first base. Like if you told me I could only have one of the things happen, him be just fine offensively and great defensively, or great offensively and fine defensively, I'm taking the defense because I think the Yankees will be able to generate enough offense around him. Bellinger, he'll be fine. You do get a little bit of the DJ LeMahieu PTSD, but I think Bellinger, who's a better player than DJ LeMahieu, is going to be fine. I'm excited for the rotation. I tried to look this up, y'all. Like, when's the last time you went into a season this high on the Yankee rotation? And I'm going through some of the years, and it's like 2019, Tanaka, Hap, Paxton, or Paxton was supposed to be superb, Herman Sabathia. But no, not really, right? Tanaka, Severino, Gray, who again was supposed to be spectacular, Herman Sabathia. Tanaka, Severino, Montgomery, Pineda, Sabathia. Tanaka, Evaldi, Nova, Pineda, Sabathia. The 2009 season, Sabathia, Burnett, Jabba Chamberlain, Mitre, and then Pettit. It's been a while since you had a rotation this loaded that you were high on once everyone gets healthy. So I'm excited about that. This was fun. Let's see. Do I do a post game recap tonight? I don't know. Maybe we hop on here after Yankees Giants to just break it down. Maybe we do that. Stay up late. Gotta be up early, but maybe we stay up late and break down the Yankees Giants game. We'll see. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. This was a lot of fun. Hit me up at Ty D Butler on social media. So that is TikTok, Instagram, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I also want to throw this on your radar because starting this Sunday, your boy will be hosting his own show on ESPN in New York every Sunday. It's going to be a fun time, man. It's going to be a fun time. 8 a.m. to noon every Sunday. We're going to get to it, baby. Right here, the Ty Butler Show. We're going to get to it. So make sure you guys check it out. Sundays, 8 a.m. to noon. ESPN New York app. I'm working on trying to get like a digital aspect involved. Maybe we can stream it. But we'll see how that works out. Because it's 2026, man. We got to start streaming stuff. We got to have a video component. So even if we do it half the show or whatever the case may be, it'll be fun to incorporate some video element. So make sure you guys check me out beginning this Sunday at 8 a.m. going to noon. This is a big deal for your boy. Big deal, milestone, accomplishment. I'm excited for it. Ty D Butler, that is where you can find me on every social media platform, Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'll holler at you guys. I think I might jump on tonight. I think I might do that. We'll see. But until next time, deuces. Holla at your boy.